Good day and welcome to the Dandelion Reflections podcast with Colleen and myself. And today we have a very, very, very special guest, Uncle Bill, as we know him, or Dr. Bill or William Hutcherson. If that's how would you like to call yourself, Bill?
I guess I put my name up there, William. I'm so used to Bill and William, either one.
Hmm.
So there's reasons for both. So anyway, uh, we can get past the label and jump into where we really want to get to today.
And I love this. Caroline, is this
Yes.
exactly what this is all about? Letting go of the label?
Yes, I totally agree. And hi everyone again and welcome Bill, William and Christopher. Thank you for creating that synergy together. Yes, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to touch upon those topics and looking forward to hearing from Bill, William, Dr. Hutcherson about wisdom pertaining to this topic. It's really about living well, living mindfully, and accessing our dandelion nature. So we thought that Bill would be another great guest for this podcast to share a little bit more about the collective wisdom that has helped him over the years.
So I'm going to, I've said before, I love the kind of feeling I get when I ever watch you two together. There's a certain kind of synergy, a loving, friendly way of dancing with the now and out and about and whatever. So I just love it. So all I really want to do, I'm so tickled to be here. Aside from that old friend called anxiety that kind of hovers around for me all my life, but we can talk about that later. But what I'm so fond of is a chance to just show up now. And I really want you two to kind of guide the way. You've created this space. And so I want to just kind of merge into this space you two have so I guess diligently or persistently have created. And so we'll go from there. And I don't know what's going to show up. That's for me, that's what I love in these later years of my life. I don't know what's going to show up. I am so fascinated by it. And I love the feeling I don't know. I just don't know. And it's so much with permission I give myself to not know, not to have to know, don't need to know. I'll just show up. And that word, and we can talk about these later. I just want to be here with you two, and we'll see where it all goes.
Yes. Wow.
That's wisdom right there. The freedom from not knowing and
Mhm.
accepting to not know. I just love hearing this. This is so amazing and inspiring.
Caroline, would you like to let our audience know how Bill came into our lives? And by the
Yes,
way, how we two met too, right?
right. It's all interconnected, right? Or do you want to start, Christopher? Because I think you met Bill before me, right? You did. So it's up to you. We can go
Okay.
chronologically.
Well,
Yes.
Bill, Uncle Bill is actually my uncle.
Mhm.
The famous uncle in America that I am so proud of letting other people know that I have been blessed with you, Uncle Bill. And we've met not many times, too few times, I would want to add. But we have met several times, and every time it was a certain kind of magic, and everyone's listen who's listening today will see where that magic comes from. this this non-judgmental, wonderful, warm way of chatting and contemplating together with you, Uncle Bill, and that is such a wonderful thing, and it always let me feel at home wherever I was, as long as you were nearby. And then in a phase of my life where I haven't been on the top of all things, Uncle Bill came into my life again and shared his wisdom and infected me with his wisdom. And wonderfully, it helped me actually get over things that I thought were not were on how do you say were unachievable? No, oh yes, well, whatever.
Maybe one way of saying that the invisible is not always visible, but the impossible becomes the possible.
Thank you.
So I could say a lot more about, and I will when you finish it, Krista, because I love being triggered by the love that I feel for you. It was so apparent in the very beginning, back in the 90s, when you came to California and America, and we had, I don't know, that we just, well, you, fortunate you could speak English. I don't speak German hardly at all. Well, no, even more honestly, I don't speak German. And it just was so easy to be together, and there's no effort. It just we just seem to love each other. I being a whole bunch older than you, but it's so what? We're just two kids together, and that's what I loved about it. So
Wonderful.
it's hard for me to not interrupt because it's a feeling inside that kind of impels me to, oh yes, oh yes. It's it's like when my two sons were little guys,
Mm.
I just couldn't keep from being their little buddy. And the three of us would just spend so much time playing until, sons, put that away now.
Right.
But it was always their loving energy, and I just so that's what I feel is there in all of us. And certainly I felt it, you're like a son to me, and you don't have anything to do about that because I got you inside.
Thank you so much, Uncle Bill. Caroline, where did
Yes,
you get in?
I came in later in this kind of timeline, right? In What a privilege, honestly. I will always remember that evening. It was in
Yes, I do.
February of 2020, the dreaded February, just about like days before the whatever shutdown of everything of life because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It was at a dinner at one of our friends we have in common, and I met Bill and his wife Vidi. And during that dinner, we had such a wonderful, deep, soul to soul conversation. I just remember very vividly that moment and learning about so many things from Bill and his wife. She's a very interesting person as well. And ever since we've been friends, right? It was right before a very difficult chapter of my life. And the friendship grew because I joined this group that you've been also part of, Christopher, and where I met you actually inside our group. So I've been hanging out with Bill ever since, and it's been just such a wonderful, incredibly eye-opening journey. And I'm again very honored to be able to hear about his insights and also share and just be, right? It's really about being together, being not knowing and being okay with that. And it's hard to put into words actually what this friendship bond means, but it's there. And it brought so much in my life, including you, Christopher. You're kind of a soul cousin. I mentioned that before. So Bill is not technically my uncle, but he's like an uncle, a soul uncle, just like Vidi is like a soul aunt to me. So again, you're part of my chosen family, and it's been really healing for me, and it still is. So thank you.
And if what I would add, yeah, I remember that evening dinner so well. Incidentally, my wife grew up in Germany, so she does speak German excellently. And actually, I could go off on a tangent there, but to finish with Caroline, I just, and this is what I see, you know, love cannot be ignored or pushed down. It's always there. And I like quote, I arm myself with quotes at times. It's like, I see now the words that have meant something to me, they get past my uh, normal defenses and they just register and they just move inside me. So even whatever I hear you all saying to me, we're just mirrors for each other. And that's what I see. I take it that way. Whatever you're saying that you found in me, oh my goodness, I just see it yourself. So it's like we use each other to actually look at ourselves in those loving ways. And I love that. What? Why don't we do this more? Well, there are good reasons, but I think that as Sydney Banks, uh, whom I'll mention from time to time, maybe I give you just a little bit of history. Is that what? I don't know if I'm supposed to do that or not here. You want a little history or not?
Do
I
whatever
don't,
feels good for you.
well, I don't know. I see what I'm doing now is what I do a lot lately. As a matter of fact, I was Zooming with someone individually a couple weeks back, and they said, "Bill, you're frozen. Bill, your internet's frozen." And then it dawned on me, no, it's just every now and then I love it when I don't know what to say. I go silent, and it does look like the internet's frozen. And what I've learned too along that line is that, see, those two questions, who am I? Who are you? I was a psychologist for 50 years. I didn't really delve into that question. I was too busy trying to fix and help people. And fortunately, I guess I got enough out of the way, but I didn't really look at who I was, that spiritual dimension. And it was not until 1983 that, wow, I went to this little conference in San Francisco with my buddy. And this little guy, Sidney Banks, sat up there in the front of a big ballroom, so inconsequential, little had only a ninth grade education, sat on that chair, and you could just feel he knew something. He knew happiness. He knew peace of mind. And that was the start of a journey for me. And for him, after his experience in the late 70s, he spoke and people just started hanging out with him because they found themselves changing, becoming more loving. Their relationships changed. Life got easier. So that kind of influence, and it's so interesting for me. This is my history. I grew up in Kentucky in the 1930s. And listen, if I go too long, I want you all to do this for me. That's what my son does. Dad, that's enough. That's enough. So I give you permission to do that because my wife will do that too. And that's why I have to stop every now and then and let the it's almost letting my silence catch up with me with the truth. And so I honor and respect that. What I was going to say. So I grew up very religious. Church, Sunday school, all that was my social outlet. I sure didn't believe what my dad believed. Now, for him, it was real. He walked his talk. He was a loving, conservative, firm, disciplined man, a math professor. I had two older sisters and a mother that was just, you couldn't find a more fun, happy, loving spirit. But isn't it interesting what we gain, what we learn from our parents that we sometimes don't realize until, and for me, sometimes it's 80 years later. I just love, because my dad's inside teaching me all the time now, not when I was a kid. I heard his words, but you know what I see now? Of course, he's been gone for now 30, 40 years. It's the way he lived. And isn't that what teaches all of us, what we learn from each other? It's the life that we live. It's the presence we have. We just show up in a certain way. And as Sidney Banks said early on, everyone, what he discovered in his awakening is that everyone has peace of mind, joy, love, and happiness already within them. They just don't realize it. And I sure didn't realize it. And I was too busy resisting my father's religion. So after becoming a psychologist for all these years, doing therapy, I didn't allow myself to look deeper into the spiritual side, the invisible side, because I was too busy with all the techniques and tools and sayings and in my personality and whatever I did with clients. And what I saw then in 1983 on, you know what? I was kind of missing out on something that has always been there. And I think that's another big insight that I was chasing after, but I was really running away from because it was already there. And I spent a lifetime, and it wasn't at 92. I guess the first 80 years I was chasing it. And then to realize, wait a minute, I've already got it. And I call it, there's a number of different words. You can call it God, religion. I just love silence. I love now, 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 here. It is. All those kind of words. It's just they all point at the same thing. At something that can't be put into words because it's a feeling. It's a presence. And the moment I put some words on it, I take myself out of it. And then I have to remember, right? I have to remind myself to go back home. That's what I call it, home. So, okay. That's, I think I better take a breath and just.
Yes. There's so much there, right? I just love how you illustrated basically the paradox of life, or this kind of alchemist's journey that we go through. We're running away from something we're chasing, and we're chasing something we're already running away from that's in us. Isn't that life already for all of us in a way, right? I just feel like you just explained the paradox of being born with everything we need that's already in us, but then we develop this ego, and then eventually we have to shed this ego and the illusions, and then we come back to our fundamental nature and source. Wow, it's fascinating and very powerful.
Yes. It's these moments, as one of my mentors said, look for the feeling, be with the feeling, because it has all the information you'll ever need. It's that wisdom that's inside just waiting to tap us on the shoulder. And how it's almost I've learned to fall in love with the moment, but I
Mhm.
also have had this. I remember when I first heard, was it Buddha? Life is suffering. I don't suffer. I mean, yeah, we're always working hard, and I always seem to feel not good enough, and I don't feel, and I'm scared a lot, and I think I'm not like other people. What's wrong with me? And I had all those kind of thoughts and feelings for years and years and years,
Mhm.
but it was an inside job. I didn't realize. And so again, back to Sidney Banks, who was such a major impact. That what is it, see, that keeps us from realizing this love, this home feeling? I'm okay, just the way I am. There's no problem in the now. There can't be, because it's just now. It's just now. And so we can talk about time and space, because in the now, there's no time. It's just now. I didn't understand that either, but it makes so much sense when I'm in the now. But and maybe this is the way to describe this, I don't know, it helps me. We all live in this 3D, three-dimensional world: past, present, future, past, present, future. We're either replaying the past with regret and guilt, or we're using it and projecting it into the future because we don't know the future, can't know it, but we project it and make estimates and guesstimates and predictions and judgments and all kinds of stuff and create anxiety. But that's the 3D world, and all of us live in that. But at some point, at every moment, there's now. So it's kind of like a fourth dimension. It's like a vertical dimension. Here's the past, present, future. There's continuity, there's time, space, all that, all those concepts we've learned. But they collapse. They collapse in the now. And it's only now, now, now. And I look at it as there's just infinite levels of awareness, consciousness, whatever you want word you put on it. That that as we rise in that awareness and become more loving souls, first of all, to ourselves, because the way we treat ourselves is how I treat everybody. I thought it was the other way around. It's the way other people treat me. That's why I'm the way I am. But that's kind of outside in, which is another one of the principles, that it's always from inside out. But I've learned, spent all my years of learning, training, it's outside in, learning how to control this, manage this, manipulate this, and didn't realize I'm the one that was controlling from inside, but I was pretending it was the outside that's making me it. And I had to give the outside the credit and the blame, and I gave it lots of blame. I felt like the victim of the outside world. I didn't ask for that. And we hear phrases like, well, life isn't fair. Well, so what? But I live it. There's a difference between living something and knowing it versus just kind of going along. Anyway, sorry about that. I love, it's like, in sports, I played tennis all my life. I love it when I don't even think about it, but I'm just hitting that stroke. Oh, yes, we call it the zone or the flow. Well, that's
Yes.
in life in every way. When we're just in the moment, in the flow, or when Caroline is in her beautiful. I mean, I don't know of a person any more creative artistically. It just oozes out of you everywhere you go. You walk in your house and it's like, oh my God, look at that. And Christoph, when I hear you talk about nature, man, your spirit's just all over the place. Fed, but and I love it that you just, anyway, I could say so much more about you all. I just love it. I'm so tickled. Yeah, I love that word. That's Kentucky. That's the word we use, tickle. Because, again, here's our early memory. My father was a loving person, disciplined. You were responsible, but he didn't really hug. He just would kind of tickle your ribs, and that's how you knew how much he loved you. And it was a little game. I'm going to count your ribs until you quit laughing. Well, of course, somebody tickle you, you start laughing. You can tickle yourself if you don't laugh, but someone else. So that's the way I think we all have our way of loving, expressing the love we have. And for some, it's with lots of words, pictures, gifts, doing for, service. And for others, it's just we listen and we listen and we listen. It just every which you can, right?
Mhm.
And that's what I've experienced on your Dandelion connection. That it seems like the two of you have a way of sharing your insights and your words with each other. And I guess what I see as so important is to sprinkle in an understanding of how our minds work.
Mhm.
Because innocently, I see now that the mind is a great computer and figures anything out, divides, figures, so forth. But it doesn't know the space of now.
Mhm.
It doesn't know who we are in that sense. So I like this way. I'm two people, just like Eckhart Tolle says, when he finally had his epiphany. Oh, that's the part that doesn't want to live. Oh, but there's this part. And so his Power of Now and all the other books. And I like the way he talks. Could I read a quote from him? Would it be,
Please.
there is a space within you where you are already perfect, whole, and complete. It is a space of pure consciousness, the space inside which all thoughts come and go. When you rest in the feeling of this space, the warmth of it heals your mind and body. When you operate from the infinite creative potential of this space, you produce high levels of performance and creative flow. When you sit in the openness of this space with other people, you experience a level of connection and intimacy which is breathtakingly enjoyable and filled with love. And then when you explore this space more deeply, you find yourself growing closer and closer to the divine, even if you're not sure there is such a thing and wouldn't know how to talk about it if there were. So every problem we have in life is the result of losing our bearings and getting caught up in the content of our own thinking. The solution to every one of those problems is to find our way back home. I love that.
Hmm.
It's all indescribable with words, yet, and it's that poem of Rumi. Beyond the idea of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there
Right.
where there's no judgments There's just presence, just love. Doesn't mean that I don't go out and dig a ditch or fall off and and get active with this physical world. But who we are is not that. That's who I think I am, like Eckhart Tolle. That's who I thought I was.
Yeah.
And this is who I found out I really am. And I think that, as Sidney Banks says, it's love and understanding. It's understanding how the mind works innocently and takes us away. And it's those many ways that our mind takes us and gets lost in thoughts and judgments. And I didn't do that. No, well, what are you talking about? No, well, you're not so hot. Well, it's like we get caught up in these words. And what I love more and more to realize every time I explain myself and I defend myself, you know what I'm really doing? I'm attacking. I'm attacking someone. I'm defending myself, but I'm attacking because they're wrong. And I get into that right wrong. And I say, oh man, how many hours have I done that? Which got in the way of just being in the moment with love and heart, innocence and forgiveness. Because, that's the only way is for forgiveness and love in our heart. And all of us get bumped and my amygdala kicks in and I go to the fight flight. But you know what? That's when I need a reminder. I need a tap on the shoulder. It may be a day later, a week later, a year later, 30 years later, 50 years later. It's wake up. It's like waking up to the now because what's here has always been there. I've been too busy defending, chasing, seeking it. And so, I love it because it's like I'm floating around in this awareness. And I just love it. And what is so nice, see, I feel that with you too. See, when you know that someone else knows what you know and they know that you know they don't know, you don't have to explain anything.
Mhm.
You go home. That doesn't mean you always want to stay home because you want to run around the block and play tennis or whatever else. But you know where home is. And you always come back to home. You can. Whether it's the prodigal uh, son, daughter, or whatever you want to, metaphor you want to use. You two, oh, I love it. You two are such good listeners. No, I'm not giving you a chance. I'm sorry. I didn't. Okay.
It's just unfolding beautifully, everything.
Yeah. We just sit here and in awe and are for my part, I'm fascinated of watching you explore this and listening to you exploring this world that is um, so vast and so unimaginable because it's so huge. And we put all these boundaries around us. We tell ourselves that we can't do this and we can't achieve this, and we're so unhappy for whatever reason. And as you say, the happiness, the release, this is in us all the time, and the ego, our own thoughts, and our own um, programming that we have taken up from the adults around us when we grew up. It's so not us.
Can I tell you a joke? I'm not good at jokes, but
Let's
and
see about
this
that.
well, these two young fish were going to school, first grade to kindergarten, whatever, and they happened to see this old fish who was going to work, and they said hi and so forth. Well, at the end of the day, they would come back from school, and here's this old fish sitting on a bench and kind of resting because he'd been working all day, and He said, hi, and hi. He says, well, how was school? Okay. Well, how was the water? And these two young fish turned, what water? What water? See, I love that.
Mhm.
What thoughts? What thinking? We
Mhm.
are swimming in the world of thinking, of
Yes.
thoughts.
Well, yeah.
What thoughts? What are you talking about? I'm just doing what I have to do, and if I don't get this done, and I have to do that, what are you talking about?
Mm.
It's their thoughts that create our reality. And another metaphor is that I love these metaphors. They don't prove anything. They're just more thoughts. And a thought can never be the truth. Why?
Mhm.
Well, look at it. Something that happens now, and then there's a space, and all of a sudden I put a label on it. Oh, this happened. Oh, that's called this, or that called that. As Byron Katie says, no thought is ever the truth.
Mhm.
It's not that thoughts are the problem.
Mhm.
It's that we believe the thought. I believe that I'm better. I believe I'm no good. I believe I should be different. I believe. And it until we fully, I mean, not just intellectually understand it, until oh, I get it. You
Mhm.
know how it is that you can practice and do something, but then all of a sudden something clicks. And, oh, why didn't you tell me that? Well, I don't have the ears to really allow something in, to really register. So I know it. And so this awareness that's always present, this consciousness, this awareness, it's like you can't touch it, you can't. It's just the space, but even that didn't adequately describe it because that's just another label. But it kind of points to what we're trying to communicate. So we do use words as pointers, as they say, trying to get you to, oh, look at that sunset. Now I can try to describe it, but no, if I could just get you to really see it. And that's what we're doing. And isn't that what we're doing today? We're just trying to get people, we're just having so much love and fun. But now, if there's a fire and my wife comes screaming, I could switch out. I'm still in the moment, but I've got a different destination right now. I'm putting out the fire. It's
Mhm.
not that we're not living, but what's important is it this presence that's always here, this home feeling that I can always know is there just waiting. Even if, like my wife and I have an argument, and I just kind of at times when I'm able, because I can get, you know, it's so easy to think we're right because the logic in here, I'm in my virtual bubble and it looks this way to me. How come you don't see what I see? But little by little by little, it gets easier for me to kind of talk about zooming back, zooming out, zooming out. Because you know how it is. When you're way out here, you don't feel those judgments and those thoughts and that, what that memory, what you did to me, and that was awful. I would never treat you that way. But from here, said, oh, you know what? I think that's exactly what I do too. Now, when I reflect on it, that pretty soon everything I'm seeing you do,
Mhm.
I do it in some way. Maybe not to the extent, or maybe I do it a different way. And maybe you color blue and I color green, but I'm still coloring it. I'm still doing it. So I just love it's like more and more, whatever you see in me, okay, I can understand that, but that's what I'm seeing. Maybe I haven't seen it yet and take a look at it. So your criticism is always a gift to me.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. You say I'm rude and I interrupt a lot? God, I thought I was being paid. I'm going to look at that. And I have the best teacher around, my son. he,
Mm.
he listened. And now my wife, they just are reflecting back to me. Maybe I ought to kind of look at the source of what I'm just projecting out there in blaming or judging someone else. It's so much easier. And I love the phrase in the Course in Miracles, which was another sound. I tell you, that book I came across in the late 70s. When I was going some painful times, I would wind up reading the Course in Miracles with all these words. It was just like my dad in his Bible, which I never did like to read and didn't read as a kid. But the Course in Miracles had a psychological flavor, understanding that it made it, I had the ears to hear it after spending all those years, get my doctorate in psychology and all of this.
I have a question about the Course in Miracles, Bill, because you mentioned it and it's been in my mind and I started reading it as well. So, what would you have to say about our audience thinking that it's a religious text and how
Oh
can we
my.
utilize that? Because I feel like, yeah, there are words that might be kind of associated with Christianity, but I think there's a lot that we can get from that text, regardless of our faith, religion, or spiritual beliefs.
Well, I like this. Another person, I'll get back to the Course of Miracles, but Byron Katie is like one of my mentors. She's written all these books, Love What Is, The Mind That Is Home with its and Peace with Itself, Home with it.
Mm.
And she says, nothing that appears in my mind, my thoughts, my concepts is really true. Absolutely nothing. No thoughts, no names, not even my own. The real world, the isness, the real world is the world before names. As the mind comes along and identifies these objects, it creates its own suffering with each unquestioned thought. Okay, coming back to Course in Miracles, as Eckhart Tolle says, if you get the first lesson out of the 365 lessons, you got the course. But of course, who really gets the first lesson? These thoughts do not mean anything. That's so counter to everything we've been taught from a little baby on. So to me, it's not religious. It's just very practical. It's in the beginning. It says, nothing real can be threatened.
Yes.
Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Now, first of all, we all have such contaminations with words. How was God used? How was spanking used? How was come here? Don't do that. Each of those have such ramifications in it. There's thousands of neurons that have been shaped and formulated. So the moment I hear that sound or that word or see that picture or that image, boom, so much happens in my whole body. So understanding the science of that as well as the spiritual side of it. It's that we can't see, don't like just like we don't see gravity, but we know by its effect. Well, we don't see the principles of thought or consciousness or love, but we sure see the effects of it. We don't see the wind, but we see the effects of it. We don't see the electromagnetic principle. We don't see the germ theory and all of that. But it's like, how open am I I don't know. I've been so conditioned that my language, and if that word doesn't fit in my definition, I won't let it in. Well, okay, until I learn to be more open and start looking at what is it that's really going on. It I can blame the word or blame the person that used that word, but the word was never it. Okay, you're quick. I gotta tell you one other thought. I love this one. You know what? You can't drink from the word water.
That's wonderful. That's
Now,
what it is.
I heard that many times probably, but I never got it until this maybe recently.
Mhm.
I'm using that everywhere. That's what I slapped the word water, but you can't get wet from it. You can't drink it. You can't. I slapped the word on fairness. I slapped the word on you. Well, what's behind that word you? Is there even a you there?
Mhm.
It's like all we're living in this world of words, thoughts. And it's like I'm running around and whatever reality is, I slap this label on it. I
Right.
slap a label on it. I look at this computer and I call it a computer and I slap that label computer. You know what? I can't I can't get much out of that word computer. I would be talking to somebody in the world today.
Mhm.
It's beyond the label that I put on life. And that's what I've been trained to do. This is called a tree. Uh, really? What's beyond that word tree? This is called friendship. What are you sure? Or is that just a word that you're relating to? And at times, with many, at times I just feel a lot of love, and then my mischief has come. Anyway, that mischief comes out, and I said, Vinny, and you have nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
It's something that has been created in here. And that's the way understanding how we have camouflaged our life and pretending I'm Bill Hutcherson, the psychologist with the doctorate. Who and where is he? Oh, those are the thoughts. There is that thinking machine, like the fish. I'm so addicted to my thoughts, just like the fish thinks there's, wow. When I scrape aside, and yesterday I had the thought, course lesson number 264. The love of God is surrounding me. What does that mean? What I know now is that this presence, this love, this allowing, acceptance, life is exactly the way it is. And of course, it surrounds me. I'm just a little part of that oneness now, that vertical dimension. It's one, one, one. It's now, now. No time, no time. It's now and then now and now and now and now. There's no time and distance. It's just now. Now I'm making it sound like I live there. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. I tell you that right now. But I'm so much more aware of letting my mind convince and talk me into thinking I'm drinking water out of the word water. I don't know. Okay. I listen. I hope I'm almost. I don't, but I feel like almost apologizing.
This is such a beautiful gift, Bill, and I just take in every word you say. Yeah, we can't drink from the word water, but we can drink from your words, Bill. Drink. Our soul is really. I feel like, yeah, it's very fulfilling, very refreshing, and I have a lot of thoughts obviously coming through my head, and I try to stay in the now. And I have so many questions, and I would love to hear Christoph's thoughts too. I just want to comment that, like, to emphasize what you said about the labels and the urge to label and the addiction to thoughts. For me, and I don't know about you too, but when I'm in nature, it's actually when I don't know what the word is for this bird or this tree or this plant that I enjoy nature the most. I feel like I connect with the moment and the essence of nature even more deeply when I don't have a label attached to it. So,
And what I see in you is that your true essence, your art, I use the word artistic, but whatever that is, that's indescribable, comes out in those beautiful representations of your color, your artistic creativity, pictures, all the words that. So I see that it's like our true essence keeps wanting to be expressed until I'm so busy putting
mhm.
it behind a label because people, I'm afraid I'll be rejected or stupid or somebody else. Our mind just plays all those games, not good or bad, all innocent. Compare, compare, compare. And when I compare, I either come out better or less. Better, less. One up, one down, one up, one down. That's the game I wind up playing. Instead of, there's no better, there's no worse. We live in that world of duality. What if, what if we could just let it go and be here now, here now, here now, just one. And just like Course in Miracles also says, the purpose of the Course is not to teach the meaning of love, it's to remove the blocks to the awareness of
Mhm.
love's presence. Now, I don't know how many times I've read that over the years, but I really get it now. I didn't, and that isn't that just what it's so innocent. We do the best we can every moment of life. And there's my sweet wife just come back
Yes,
from her walk, and
I do.
you know, it, yeah. And Christoph, I'd love to hear something from you because you see, I just enjoy seeing the good in people because I
Mhm.
get to see the good in me too. And we're just kind of reverberating that. We're smoke and mirrors, as they say. In a way, forget that metaphor, but
I am reminded of the time when uh, I was introduced in your ideas there, and we had our talks, and I thought it was so challenging to think in the way that my thoughts create my world. And as you mentioned before, we have been growing up and living that whatever happens out there, we are a victim of it if we don't like it, and we blame situations, we blame persons out there, we blame family members for this and that, why we are unhappy, and then all of a sudden it clicked, and I suddenly saw the light, and
Mhm.
this was such a wonderful, wonderful gift. And well, of course, it still takes a while and to implement this new way of thinking into our lives. And but uh, it is such a rewarding thing to do and to live. And I really can only encourage everyone to try this out, to actually uh, give this thought a chance. But I see many people out there with who I talk to, many resist this thought, this new way of thinking. I see that. I saw that in myself. I, I remember myself doing the same thing, and it is not comfortable. And our mind and our brain, our ego wants to get away from anything that is not comfortable, right? Because suddenly we are there and we are suddenly confronted with something that we have to let go of, our way of thinking, our thought patterns and everything. And sometimes I get the question, isn't there a quick fix? Isn't there a quick way to change this? I want to get it now. Why can't I get it? Why can't I understand it? So,
Could I add
what would you answer to these people, to these questions?
well, what I'm seeing more and more too is that I too have been trying to fix and change and reframe. In psychology, reframing something, it can it can change your feelings just that quickly. Look at it this way instead of that way. However, there's even a shorter way I'm discovering, and that is that thought that I'm trying to change. It's not even real. It's
Yes,
just made
exactly.
up. It's that word water. Why change the water and spell it a different way? You'll never get water out of it. Instead, understanding in the moment, it just is without the word. I've made up that word. That's why Byron Katie says, when you argue with reality, you only lose but 100% of the time. It is the way it is, whether you like it or not, whether you think it shouldn't be or whatever. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. It is that way. Now, what am I going to do? Can I bring my loving, my sense of who I am, my energy, my confidence, my perspective in the moment, and do what's appropriate, whatever that may be in the moment, instead of, oh, I still got to get rid of that. It's like we go to war within ourselves to get rid of the thing that we even made. So here I am. I figured if I took this pencil here and I kept jabbing myself and oh, ouch, ouch. But I'm the one that's doing it innocently. I don't realize it. It's like when handicapped children poke pencils in the ear, they have to be restrained. It just makes your heart. But somehow it's been conditioned and it's a habit. And once I can see it, like you're saying, Christoph, and what I always loved it, you are just like a sponge. You just were so open to taking in whatever it was and tried it out. And you experimented. And you found out, oh, you know what? It's easier to be happy without trying to be right.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I would love to hear, Bill, how you've managed to get where you are now. Like, can you tell our audience what would be your own recipe? What are the practical strategies that you've developed for yourself that helped you come back to the now and let go of thoughts, let go of labels, of outcomes, of expectations, let go of the ego? What are the stepping stones that can help us do that?
Boy. Well, it didn't come about from all the hundreds of books I've read, or the videos, or the people, or the groups, or it happens when it happens. I guess realizing I'm not in charge of life. For me, life is living this presence. Somehow, I feel so humble when you even ask that question. Because in a way, it's like, I didn't get here. It's always been here. I just, even that, and that truth is always there in everybody until they realize it. It's like until they slow down or whatever, there's not a recipe because I'm not the one doing it. It's that the words that I heard my father say over and over, thy will be done. The knock and it shall be open. Seek and ye shall find. How many times? Thousands, thousands, or in 12-step A program. I heard it, and then the 100th time, oh, something happened. So I just love your question, though, Caroline. Because what I see is when I listen to you, I see that, I just see the marvel in you. It's like our suffering is the gift that feels so terrible, yet it's the doorway to freedom. And it's like allowing it to be there. And there are ways that seem to be useful instead of fighting it and adding more salt to the wound. I should know what's wrong with me, all that. It's just to be lovingly kind and gentle with ourselves, whatever this next step may be. It's the best I can do right now because I don't know, but it is. So you know what? It's a question that doesn't need to be answered by someone else. Mm-hmm. And that's maybe I could finish with this. I'm surrounded by these things. I have but it's the gift of a question, and that's something else for me. When someone asks a question, please don't answer it. It's not meant to be answered by our mind. If it's a meaningful question, let it bring out its own truth and wisdom, because there's wisdom beyond the mind. It's there in the ethos, it's there in life. So sometimes a single question will change your life forever. Once there was a man who was really upset because he never felt seen or heard. And someone asked him, how do you do that? And he froze. I'll repeat the question. How do you do that? A question is always thousands of intonations, vibrations, whatever. It's never just the words. Mm-hmm. And the truth of his world came crashing down in an instant. It's hard to feel like a victim when someone reminds me how powerful you are. How did you do that? I did that. So a question, and the question I use so often, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? I'm scared. I believe I'm scared. What's that? What's that? What is that? Scared. What does that even mean? It's just a label. What's behind it? I'm scared. What comes up? Oh, something's wrong with me, or is that true? Well, I believe I should be different. Well, is that true? Is that true? I don't want an answer. I want that question to go past your mind, your intellect, your answers. Please don't answer it. Just let it sit there. Ask yourself, is it true? Every day, maybe 5 minutes a day, really poring over, listening. Is it true? What comes up? Is it true? It just, I don't know if that's any sort of an answer for you. But what I see is that I don't have an answer for anybody. It's for them to listen to their own wisdom, because it's there. Their
Mhm.
truth is there. It's there. It's there. We're all so busy looking for it that we're not listening for it.
Thank you.
If
Listen,
I
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just love being with y'all.
if I had a ribbon and if it would be possible for me to wrap this around your
Hmm.
words, I would do it because they are so powerful, even if they're only words, and even if it's us and our ego who puts the meaning in the words, and they're not even true, maybe. I don't know. But for
Well,
for
I
me,
just
they
have
seem very
such a warm feeling just hearing what you're saying because you're talking from your truth right now.
Yes. I think
wonderful.
this wisdom that you are illustrating is just a great reminder that we can all be a conduit of the divine, which you have been once again for us today. So thank you, Bill.
Oh, God. I owe you all. I just thank you, thank you, thank you for the opportunity to show up.
Right.
I'm glad we
Uncle
showed up
Bill.
together.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Uncle
both.
Bill, if anyone would like to get into contact with you, where can they find you?
Uh, my email address, or I guess williamhutcherson.com.
Right.
Uh,
And then we
yeah,
will include the link to your website in the description.
bye
And
bye.
we are very, very grateful having had you as a guest and having you in this world. And
So yeah,
yeah, Colleen, closing words from you.
sending love back
Mhm.
to you and Vidi from both of
Thank you,
Yes,
us.
thank you.
A
right.
lot of gratitude today. I'm filled with gratitude. Thank you.
I so much feel the richer for this. Your gift of the being present and allowing me to show up. Thank you.
And we thank you, our dear audience, for having listened to us this long. It's been a little longer than usual, but I think it was worth it. But again, that's just me and words, and you don't have to believe it. But if you would like to leave some words in as a comment, or leave us a like, or leave us a your thoughts, whatever. Yeah. Thank you
You
so
always have
much.
choice of deleting or cutting it off.
Right.
And we're in
Yeah,
the now. Well, when we are in the now, we don't see or we don't feel the effect of time. So I think we
exactly.
touched eternity together, and it didn't seem
Thanks,
like
everyone.
a long episode. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much. And thank you, Uncle Bill. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye. Be well.